Well, hello there. Gutting the Sacred Cow, we're back. Hey, everybody, Kevin Goatee, your pal, here to tell you that we've got a brand piping hot new episode this week. We've got Joey from So Wizard Podcast back. Remember him? He did Harry Potter, the first one. And Big Nick from the Gag on This podcast. Remember him? He did There Will Be Blood. Joey has chosen to take on Mission Impossible Fallout, the second Mission Impossible film. And as a reminder, hey, for all of our new fans, give us a rate and review on iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever. 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on your podcast platform of choice. We're on YouTube as well. Give us a like there, subscribe. That really does help. And hey, if you want to advertise with us, guttingthesacredcow at gmail.com. And why wait? Let's see if Joey can do damn near the impossible and declassify Mission Impossible Fallout. I'm the guy who does this job. You must be the other guy. Joey from the So Wizard Podcast, name that film.
We're doing Mission Impossible Fallout.
But that is not it. Name that. No idea what that film is?
No.
No. All right. We're going to go to Nick from Gag on This podcast. Nick, what film is that from?
Say it again real quick.
I'm the guy who does this job. You must be the other guy.
I mean, it smacks of 1980s. That's all I got.
Actually, it's 2006. That would be The Departed, or as they say, The Paddin'. That's Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Goatee, and Big Nick from the Gag on This podcast, sitting as a co-host chair. Today, we're doing as Joey from the So Wizard Podcast is going to be doing. Joey's going to declassify Mission Impossible Fallout, the title of this. And welcome, of course, to Gutting the Sacred Cow, the best movie review / movie debate podcast out there. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out, fellas. How goes it with you?
Fantastic. Ready to rock and roll tonight. Been looking forward to this for a while. So.
Here we go. Joey said he wanted to do a film, and he wanted to do any Mission Impossible film. We already did part 1. I said, oh, how about Fallout? He says, you betcha. So here we are. A 2018 budget of $178 million. A box office haul of $791.7 million. Turn that into 2022 money. A budget of $205.5 million. A box office haul of $913.4 million. Wow, Nick, that's a lot of scatterol, as they say.
Yeah, close to $1 billion. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Wow, and this is like what, the 6th of the franchise as well.
Is it this? Yeah, because the next one coming out is 7. Well, technically, they're both 7 because it's 2 parts.
Exactly. IMDb, as we all know, is a scale 1 through 10 with decimal points. Joey, what do you think Mission Impossible Fallout has scored on the old IMDb?
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be really high because I know everyone loves this movie. So probably like 8.3.
All right, Nick.
I'm gonna say higher than that. I'm gonna say like 8. I'm going to be that guy. 8.4.
Oh,
$1.
Survey says 7.7.
Oh.
Critics Rotten Tomatoes score, as we know, 1 through 100. Nick, what did the critics give Mission Impossible Fallout?
I'm going to say 60%.
Joey?
I'm pretty sure critics loved this too. So I think it's like probably 80. We'll say 80.
97.
What?
They loved it. I remember them loving this big time. We're going to go back to you, Joey. What did the audience give this film?
Well, I mean, generally the audience is dumb. So we're going to say probably like 97. Just a tie.
Nick?
Let's go 88.
88 on the nose.
Oh,
both showcases.
Wow.
Now onto the big wheel where you can win 1 spin and we'll get you $1,000 and 2 will get you $10,000. 5 fun facts. The bathroom fight sequence was supposed to be shot in 3 days, but it's actually shot throughout the entire production in bits and pieces. The exhilarating bathroom brawl scene in Fallout was initially supposed to be shot over 4 days, and it turned much more complicated, and it took over 4 weeks for that one scene.
Henry Cavill had to reload his biceps that many times.
Yeah, and half grow a mustache in too.
That's right.
Next one, in a recent study, they found that, quote, movies featuring Tom Cruise running more than 1,000 feet have a higher tomato meter. It's going to get better. Have a higher tomato meter average, a huge 71%, than movies where he runs less than or not at all. And the same movies make more money at the box office with an average inflated international gross of $538 million. Who finances this horse poop, as we say?
It's our tax dollars at work right there.
Oh.
Who, just out of curiosity, who even thought of that? Like, who was sitting around just going, I wonder if Tom Cruise runs more, does that make more money?
The way his arms run at a frenetic, maniacal state of like scissoring, that should be the real study in physics. Is he more aerodynamically, precise with his movements? But you're right. This
poor
is
intern just counting the steps over and over again with a clicker, just sitting there.
Tom won't wear a Fitbit. Okay, so I have to sit here with like I said, a clicker. Cruise has performed over 100 halo jumps, high altitude, low opening, resulting in 3 usable takes. 100 jumps, 3 takes where he rescues his teammate. Man, what a perfectionist. You have to give the devil his due. You have to. That's
or he just sucks that much.
Yeah. Cruise hanging from a helicopter mid-flight in the climax. He also gets to pilot the helicopter.
Funny to burn.
Right. He also gets to pilot the helicopter in the sequence. He took piloting lessons just for the occasion, which takes 2 years and 1,000 flight hours. When he's not drinking the blood of runaways in the Church of Scientology, he is taking helicopter lessons and running in place while doing push-ups. That's nuts. Quotes? You use a scalpel. I prefer a hammer. And that's all the quotes I have from this film. This film is not quotable one bit.
Oh, how dare you, sir?
Well, I'll tell you what, since you have such a vocal opinion on this, why don't you tell me, enlighten us, Nick, what quotes jumped out at you?
Well, first of all, another fact, he broke his leg when he jumped from building to building.
Yes.
That's a fun fact. All right.
And you can see him gimping too, by the way. When you see him running, he gimps off on that a bunch.
Yeah,
how many steps does that count as when he's gimping? Is that like half?
like 5/8?
Okay.
So are you guys telling me that you didn't enjoy the line of, I kill women and children with smallpox. I have no line.
I'm more in shock that resonated with you to write that down.
It didn't stick out to me, but it's funny out of context.
Yeah, it is.
Or what about, I am the storm?
That's like Judge Dredd. I am the law. The Stallone version, the Carl Urban version is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joey, any quotes at you?
The most celebrated one for me was when the end credits started. So cast was probably my favorite quote.
Ouchies. All right. Now, let's find out what all of our fans want to know, because it's time to Ask a Gutter. At Carly Kingsley, Mission Impossible is my favorite holiday movie.
Is that a question?
No, it's a statement, but she enjoys putting that on every one of our Ask a Gutters. It's her favorite holiday movie, so I love her keeping on brand. If you had to, which are the 2 major stunt scenes would you do and would you try yourself in Mission Impossible Fallout? The Halo jump or hanging off the cargo helicopter?
I don't think I would survive either of those tasks. I think my fat, out of shape ass would probably fall and die either way. So I guess I'd take the helicopter. It'd be a quicker death than plummeting out of the Halo suit and just floating forever until I die. So either or is gonna be horrible for me. So.
You probably would have a heart attack before your body became ectoplasm or whatever it was called, just
That
plasm.
is true. My veins would begin pumping barbecue sauce again, and I would just explode.
Ooh, North Carolina or Kansas City? Our readers want to know.
So. Kansas City, of course.
Oh yeah, that vinegar stuff is for the birds. Next question: who would win in a foot race between Ethan Hunt and James Bond?
Well, I have a confession to make, which might make me have to be a guest again. Is I also hate James Bond movies, so maybe both of them could jump a building and hurt themselves and just limp away slowly.
Well, we have Xi Ping's one of his communist spies in our midst here, Nick. So we're going to send an extraction unit right now and have him zip tie, hog tie, and then anally fist him to death for hating James Bond films. That's blasphemy. Next. This is okay. At Contrarian Prime, 3-part question. Why does he hate fun? What's his favorite Tom Cruise film? What's your favorite action movie?
I don't hate fun. I just have a different taste in fun than maybe other people. So I wouldn't say I hate fun, but
All right.
maybe a little bit of fun. You know, maybe I tried it once or twice. But favorite Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow would probably be my
Very
favorite Tom
good
Cruise
film.
movie.
Very good film.
If I had to pick one, not a big Tom Cruise guy. So if I had to pick one, definitely Edge of Tomorrow. Favorite action film is tough because there's so many awesome ones, but probably Predator off the top of my head, or Rumble in the Bronx.
Rumble in the Bronx. God,
That is, you won me over. I was getting a little upset when you said you hated 007 and James Bond, but Rumble in the Bronx, you won me over again.
There we go.
Rumble
In the show, it's over.
Rumble in the Bronx. That shit was shot in Vancouver, and they don't even pretend to make it look like the Bronx in that.
You have never been assaulted by street gangs in the Bronx who are all white guys that ride motocross bikes?
I go to at least 10 Yankee games a year, and that's never happened to me. So that's
Excellent.
that's
You're a very
that's,
lucky man.
I sure am. I guess I'll learn to dress in day glow orange and then do cartwheels, and maybe they'll come a calling for me. That's a good one. Best action film. Jesus Christ. I mean, Commando, Terminator 2. Oh, the list goes on. Cruise.
Commando? You're saying Commando is better than Rumble in the Bronx?
I'm saying that without hesitation.
Oh, my God.
It's a video game for 90 minutes where he destroys and shoots. Dread is a better action film than Rumble in the Bronx.
I don't know about that. But...
At Bex, at Zen's producer, Henry Cavill is the sexiest man alive, so I can't critique him. That's another statement. I like that. I like more of the declarations. They're also good. At Newark Knight, Brandon Oglesby, he wants to know, so what scene in Fallout you can enjoy on its own without getting dragged down by the rest of the movie?
The bathroom fight is pretty awesome. So I'm down with the bathroom fight. The rest of the movie, not so much, but we'll get there.
That sounds like a great name of a gay punk rock band, Bathroom Fight.
Yeah, the bathroom fight. Yep.
That's hot. Noted. All right, that is going to wrap it up for Ask a Gutter. So let's have a commercial ad read. Today's episode is sponsored by Pacific Sensei. Pacific Sensei is a boutique farm in Oregon that grows top shelf quality hemp flower. Not that bullshit you get in high school. No, this is the gourmet expensive shit, right? Because when I smoke it, I want to taste it. See, I wove in Pulp Fiction there. A hemp flower looks, smells, and smokes like weed, except it's low in THC, so it doesn't get you high. Pacific Sensei flower is loaded with CBD, so you can enjoy the benefits of cannabis without feeling bummed out, paranoid, or anxious. Isn't that half the ride in getting high, fellas, or any of those things?
Yeah, thinking you're going to die. Yeah.
Right? I mean, that wasn't all glorified in the Fast Times at Ridgemont High with Spicoli. Look, take this relaxing after work or even at work. Boy, especially if you operate heavy machinery or a neurosurgeon, that is the perfect time. Just kidding. A day at the beach, you're on the go. Pacific Sensei flower is not intoxicating, so it's perfect anytime. That's actually that's enjoyable because nothing worse than walking into a store and someone who just blew out their last hit. You walk into their cloud of garbage weed. You're like, ugh, gross. It smells like someone's been smoking ragweed. No, thank you. Lab tested, federally legal, and discreet shipping right to your front door. Pacific Sunset flour is greenhouse grown, seedless, and always fresh. Go to Pacific Sensei Flour. That's Pacific, PACIFICSENSI.com. That's PacificSensei.com to order now and use that promo code GTSC, as in GTSC podcast, Gutting the Sacred Cow. That's PacificSensei.com, promo code for 10% off. That's it, kids. Enjoy Pacific Sensei. Enjoy the benefits of not getting high, but relaxing, which is anything what this podcast is going to be after those accusations by Joey so far.
It's only going to get worse. Sorry.
Don't apologize. This is why you're here, sir. I'll tell you what, because no one listens to the end of podcasts, let's get the plugs out of the way. Let's go to Joey from So Wizard Podcast first. Joey, what are you up to? What do you want to share with the fine folks?
If you happen to like my opinions on movies, or even if you don't, maybe you should come and check out our show, which is So Wizard Podcast. We are a weekly movie and sometimes TV review podcast, mostly focused on nerdy genre stuff. So a really exciting thing that's never happened in podcasting before, friends that review nerdy movies. So yeah, we just got it out there. We jumped in, no one else was doing it. So we just jumped right in, had to review movies every week. We're there. We have a YouTube channel also where we do all our interviews and some other extra stuff like unboxings and trailer reactions, but everything's at sowizardpodcast.com. So come check us out.
I would love to see a lesbian film called Unboxing.
It could be the sequel to Bound.
Great film, by the way.
Yes.
Totally enjoy that.
The Wachowskis need a hit, and softcore lesbianism is the way.
Because God knows they haven't had a hit since the first, loved hit since the first Matrix.
Hey, man, Jennifer Tilly still got it. So
she sure does. Go. And by it, you mean terrible voice. Anyway.
Yeah. Big ass titties.
Show enough. Delicious. So good, they killed Sam Simon. So good they give Sam Simon cancer. That's how good those titties are. Sure. And now she's spending his fortune. Oh, that's the femme fatale story we deserve but have not yet got. Boys, I smell a brainstorming session. Are you with me? Nick from the Gag on this podcast. I had the pleasure of you doing your podcast, and you've had the pleasure of being on this podcast before. When you did, There Will Be Blood. What else are you up to? Tell me about it.
You can find me on Twitter at @TheBigNickJ. I'm going to be guesting on a couple music podcasts coming up. And as he said, my podcast is Gag on This Pod. We interview comedians, both local and traveling. You can find us pretty much anywhere you get podcasts and on YouTube.
Word. And of course, guttingthesacredcow.com, where you can find yourself a sweet ass shirt like this. What? As well as other fine merch, hats, bags, mugs, cell phone holders. Yeah, we've got those. And autographed copies of Unboxing. We'll sign those, even though we have nothing to do with that film. Guttingthesacredcow @gmail.com. If you want to advertise with us, that of course. And please leave us a 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on your podcast platform of choice. Nick, let's have Joey come on and do what he was born in this world to do, and that's get his hate on of Mission Impossible Fallout. So it's time for Joey to gut the sacred cow.
All right. So I have notes. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yes.
So first things first, this movie is long. This movie is long. It is 147 minutes long. Way too long for what this movie is. It took me 3 days to get through this movie. I had to take breaks. I couldn't do it. I hate Tom Cruise so much, but we'll get into that in a second. But for the most part, just super long, convoluted plot. Here's the next point for me. Just convoluted plot, twist after twist after twist after twist, most of which means absolutely nothing. There's a scene where Alec Baldwin, who has a gun, which was terrifying enough in the scene.
Son of a bitch, I have that in my notes
too. You are the bad guy. And he's like, you're the bad guy. And he's like, no, wait, he's the bad guy. And then all these soldiers run in and it's dark. And it's like, I don't even know what's happening anymore. And I'm confused and I'm just tired at that point in the movie. So yeah, just awful, nonstop word vomit plot line of this guy in this country is doing this and that, and this guy's got smallpox, and it just very hard to keep track of what was going on. I've only seen the first Mission Impossible, so I think I saw the second one at some point, but maybe I just put it out of my mind. So the Mission Impossible cinematic universe building meant absolutely nothing to me. We open with Tom Cruise's wedding, and then Thanos snaps him away or something, and I don't even know what's happening. It just, the plot was so convoluted. This could have been a 90-minute movie. Maybe it would have been a lot better, but plot-wise, just couldn't even follow what was happening. Then we've got all of our stunts and car crashes and car chases. It feels like every 7 to 10 minutes, some wild chase scene or something is happening, but you don't feel anything after a while. So I did mention, I did like the fight in the bathroom. I'm more of a martial arts type of fan, so that was cool. But then we've got a car chase through Paris. Then we're jumping out of planes. Then we're flying helicopters and crashing helicopters. Now we're freestyle climbing and fighting on the side of a cliff. It never ends, and you don't feel anything after a while. I just felt numb to all these action scenes. And if that's what you're there for, I guess it's cool. I mean, hey, Tom Cruise does most of his own stunts or gets CG'd into them over someone else's face. But it just feels like nothing. If you want nonstop stunts with a shitty plot, like just go to the circus or something. Like you can see all sorts of stuff happen there. I just was bored out of my mind at that point. I appreciate the artistry of the effects and the stunts, but I mean, it felt like watching the behind the scenes part of a DVD. All it was just, look at these cool stunts we can do. It was like a demo reel for the director. Just wasn't a fan. The Tom Cruise's ego, the movie. So Tom Cruise is the best secret agent. He's the toughest secret agent. He's the best driver. 90% of all female characters are in love with him or want to be in love with him. And he's not just a secret agent. He's a secret agent with a heart of gold. He'd rather save one person's life than pick up plutonium bombs that are on the ground, which will potentially kill like half the globe because he doesn't want to shoot Ving Rhames, which he ends up shooting anyway because he had a bulletproof vest on. But it's just the entire movie. It almost feels like everyone has to side. It felt like it was like the Poochie episode of The Simpsons. Everyone needs to know where Poochie is, and if he's not around, they should be asking where he is and talking about how great he is. That's how it felt like this movie was. Tom Cruise is the best. He's always the best. Nothing that could possibly go wrong if he's involved. How are you going to solve this, Ethan? I'll figure it out. And then he'll do something stupid or drive a motorcycle down the street or jump off a building or whatever. It's just Tom Cruise is the best. This movie could have just been 2.5 hours of people jerking off for Tom Cruise and talking about how great he was, like talking heads while people masturbated looking at pictures of him, and that would have been the same exact feel for the movie. It was too much. It was too much of an ego trip for Tom Cruise. Couldn't deal with it. No feeling whatsoever that there was any danger for any of the team at all. You never ever felt like it was ever going to go wrong for them, no matter what happens in the movie. So they're throwing all these crazy twists in every single time. Well, they have the boat that goes the right way, or this happens the right way. Tom Cruise just happens to do the right thing. And I get it. It's a movie. The good guys are going to win at the end. But my God, you never feel like they are in any danger whatsoever. Let's continue.
Please.
The treatment of women in this movie is pretty horrendous. Most of the female characters seem like props. If they aren't there to just talk about how great Tom Cruise is or fall in love with him randomly, then even if they are supposed to be strong characters, Rebecca Ferguson's character, Ilsa, I think her name was. It was hard to keep track of who everybody was in the movie. Yep. She seems pretty able to take care of herself until the end. Simon Pegg has to come and try to save her because she's a female, so she needs that help at the.
But then she saves him.
Yeah.
And Henry Cavill horrendous acting. She does, but he didn't even need to be there. All those guys are Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg. Just Ethan Hunt runs around. It's like, I'll handle everything. I'm the best. I'll figure it out. And then they crack a joke or shrug and be like, that's our Ethan Hunt. And then another action scene happens. So it's excruciating. And then Henry Cavill is a horrendously bad actor in this. And I don't think he's a bad actor, but for some reason in this movie, all he does is he'll like stop and he'll pause and be like, well, Ethan, I'm the hammer, or just some stupid line.
Wait,
and
if you thought he's bad, if you thought he's bad in this, you can't tell me he was good as Superman. Please don't try.
I hate him as Superman.
Okay, all right.
One of my big things is I don't understand the people pining for him to be Superman again. It's like, please get me the man who's been in 3 shitty movies as Superman back as Superman. That will solve all our problems.
Okay.
But yeah, he's just like, oh, well, maybe I'm not the bad guy. Maybe you are. And then everyone kind of stands around and stares at each other. He's not a good actor in this. And there was no justification for the mustache. Let's be real. He's got a mustache. It ruined the Justice League movie to a degree because they had to CG his face all over the place. So I'm like, man, there must be a really crazy reason for this mustache.
That was the problem with Justice League, was his mustache.
There were many problems.
It wasn't the 2.5-hour slog fest with a film and a shitty villain that people had a problem about. No, it was his mustache. Fuck out of here.
Now, I mean, there are many problems with that movie, but his CG'd face is definitely in there, especially in the Justice cut, when it's the first thing you see is his misaligned jowls of CG coming at you. But I'm like, man, there has to be a really cool reason that he has a mustache as a character. Maybe he shaves it off and now he's the bad guy. No, he just has a mustache.
Maybe they're shooting a Village People biopic that hasn't been released yet.
Who would he be? The construction worker or the Indian?
Yes.
Oh, the construction worker, without a doubt.
Once he said it, I just imagined him in the construction outfit. Yeah.
Nothing but the construction outfit. Meow.
Yeah. He'll be like, in the Navy, Ethan.
And then he cocks
finally,
his arms,
my last point.
Then he cocks his arms right before he kisses a guy.
That's right. He's like, ching. Does that work? I mean, I've never really been in a real fight in a bathroom against trained killers before, but
yeah, me neither.
I reload my biceps when I'm doing things. It looked cool, but it was dumb. That was dumb, but it looked cool. So I'll let it pass. The final problem I have with this movie, besides all the other things, is the shitty ending. So after the Mission Impossible team has done everything goes their way, they always win. Nothing ever bothers them. Tom Cruise can solve everything. They cut the wires on the bombs. It goes to white. And I'm like, oh my God, did they actually set off the nuclear bombs? Did they actually fail? Is this an interesting ending to this movie? No. Tom Cruise is just hanging from a cliff and he spits out the button or whatever the fuck he had on that remote control. And star wipe, the end. And the worst and most egregious part of all of this, no Limp Bizkit Mission Impossible song in this.
Oh God.
I didn't mind that guitar riff from that song. I didn't. I gotta say.
Exactly.
I didn't mind it. And I don't hate Mission Impossible 2 as much as everybody else. I see why. It was fine. Please give me a number 1 to 10 on your thoughts of this film.
1.
What?
Whoa.
This is not worse than Napoleon Dynamite. Get the fuck out of here with this. Not one.
Napoleon Dynamite. Come on.
That's one of the worst films ever made. I will not sit here and listen to any other. Caddyshack 2. You're telling me this is as bad as Caddyshack 2? I will not listen to that as well.
Well, that did have a really good Kenny Loggins song in the soundtrack. So
it did, but it also had 90 minutes of unfunny horse shit.
Yeah, Kenny Loggins couldn't save that turd.
Well, this has 2.5 hours of boring.
He hangs out of a fucking helicopter and he fucking does a halo jump. That's bonkers. You can't. That alone should at least get it to a 3.
Nope. 1.
Tough critic.
I'm perplexed. Let's go to Nick from Gag on this podcast. Nick, I want to hear your thoughts.
So, first I'll go over the bad. Those quotes that I quoted at the beginning, very bad. I'll just say that right now.
Concur.
It was as if he was trying to be like a superhero with the "I am the storm," and I was just like, "Oh God, that's cheesy as hell." The action, and this is probably because I recently watched Rogue Nation. The action does not live up to Rogue Nation status. I'll just say that.
Rogue Nation was the one where he hangs on the helicopter in the beginning where he's out of the grass, or is that and that one is also underwater with underwater timer?
Yes.
That one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the underwater spinny doodah thing. Yeah,
He just loves hanging off of helicopters. I guess that's his thing.
He's goddamn good at it.
he is. He looks dreamy. Also the writing. I knew Locke was Cavill, like from the jump. I was just like, it's Cavill. So that sucked. Now that's it. Because how good is this? First of all, I watched it and I was so enthralled that I didn't take notes at first. And I was like, oh shit, I got to write stuff down. Like I was that enthralled in this movie. So good. Now, the bathroom scene, as we all said, is probably the best. I liked it for another reason. I liked it because it reminded me of the True Lies fight in the bathroom.
Oh.
And it was set up exactly the same.
Wow.
So I did like that.
That is a good call.
And what makes it even better is I watched Mission Impossible 2 right after this. And that made this movie so much better because Mission Impossible 2 is pure garbage. John Woo films do not stand the test of time. I'll say it. Harsh fact. I don't care.
Someone doesn't like flying doves. That's for sure.
Hard Boiled is one of the best movies ever made. Come on.
What'd you say was the best film ever made?
Hard Boiled is one of the best movies ever made.
It's good. It's not one of the best. It's enjoyable. I'm not going that far.
Certainly stands the test of time.
The action does. The story is weak. Great action film, though.
And then, of course, I mean, at the end, we get the best cameo ever. We get the guy from American Beauty. I was not anticipating him to be Bentley, in it, and bam. He was there, and I was like, yes.
Were you waiting for a plastic bag to float in the wind?
And him to give me some monologue about how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like I said, I think the greatest testament to this is I watched it and forgot to take notes because I was like that enthralled in it. Granted, the story was a little off, action was a little off, still kept my interest a lot. So go to hell with your 1 out of 10.
Ooh.
I'm giving it a solid 8.5.
Oh!
Wow.
Ballsy. Ballsy. Rank, since you're a fan of the franchise, it sounds like, rank the Mission Impossible films best to worst.
So right now, best would be Rogue Nation.
All right.
I kind of want to say Mission Impossible 1, the original, number 2. Then you got MI3, which I forgot what that was.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes. Actually, you know what? That's number 2 because I forgot he was in that. And then Mission Impossible 1. Then you got this. And then lastly, I mean, I don't even want to keep it on the list, but MI2.
You forgot Gross Protocol.
Is that 3?
No, it's 4. That's where he's climbing the windows in the fucking desert.
Oh.
With what's her face? Paula Patton? Yeah. And Renner's in it. Renner's in 2 of them.
How could I forget that one?
Yeah.
That scene was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So Rogue Nation.
Right.
MI3, Ghost Protocol. Then you got this one, and then MI2. The very last one.
These notes brought to you by guttingthesacredcow.com, where you can find sweet-ass shirts, as I had mentioned before. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on your podcast platform of choice. And, of course, we're not live. We're on YouTube, not live, every week as well. So please give us a follow there. Follow us on the socials at GTSC Podcast on Twitter. And, of course, Gutting the Sacred Cow Podcast, Instagram, and TikTok. And, yeah, Facebook as well, I guess, if people still care about that. Notes! Ving Rhames has metamorphosized into Michael Clark Duncan. Fight me. I dare you.
Why would we fight you on a correct statement?
That's why you have common sense. Tom Cruise is living proof that if you work nonstop, demand perfection in all of your projects, that you can make enough money to buy the best HGH skin serum and blood of Mormon runaways to look 25 years younger. In this film is the first time that CNN reported the news without any bias. Whoa! Why does every hacker's laptop in every movie look like it's a goddamn toolbox? Doesn't look like a regular old Mac or, Windows laptop, but sure. Cruz jumping out of the plane in this film and holding onto the side in Ghost Protocol of that one are the only two pieces of evidence that I need to prove that he is the best action hero in the last 25 years.
Concur.
What? Not even a discussion. Don't give me that Vin Diesel, The Rock bullshit. I'll laugh you right out of here. It ain't even the same sport. It ain't even the same fucking ballpark, as they said in Pulp Fiction.
What about Daniel Craig?
Only 4 films, not enough. Good, and he's more. We'll get to. We can talk Bond all day long. We just did Casino Royale. You can hear my thoughts on that. Enjoyed it though. That is by far the cleanest bathroom I've ever seen in a nightclub. Oh, you can eat off that floor. Are you kidding me? No shit streaks, no dicks drawn on the wall. The bathroom fight scene is truly poetry in motion. It's action choreography perfection.
Were you guys expecting the mirror to just be a double mirror and no like wall in between? Because I was thrown off when they just threw him through the mirror and that's all it was.
Yeah, I was not expecting anything except ass kicking, which we got. Just once, I want to be part of these eyed wise shut / secret society meetings just to see how long I could hang and if they appreciate sophisticated dick jokes while fucking in vulture masks. I wonder if Alec Baldwin grabbed that gun and accidentally killed this film's prop master as well.
It was sabotage.
Why Mission Impossible films work is because they actually put thought in the plot, unlike jangling shiny keys in front of the audience with insane stunts like Stallone and Arnold films did in the 80s and 90s, which were and still are great, but this is a different cut of a summer blockbuster. Lane the criminal looks like he would eat at a strip club buffet after killing random homeless people. Thank you.
During the day too.
That's the key. Going there for like a loaded plate of chicken fingers. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. I think Henry Cavill would be a good Bond. I do. There's no one else out there. His name's thrown around. I'll buy that. I can see him as a solid Bond. I'm wondering how many guys on the IMF team that Tom Cruise wants to French kiss.
All of them.
Except Simon Pegg. He's too wafy for him.
That's right.
This film builds tension and maintains it quite well. Disagree with you. Weirdly enough, no one remembers Mission Impossible villains except for Philip Seymour Hoffman. Everyone remembers Bond villains, though. Go figure. Even the shittiest Bond villains, you remember them. Remember the guy with the diamond studs in his face and Die Another Day? What an awful film. But everyone remembers who that dude was. I liked how they brought Michelle Monaghan's character back in this. All the Mission Impossibles, they don't have many secondary characters returning except for Renner and Baldwin. And of course, obviously, but those the Peg and the Ving Rhames, they're like more 1B. But I like seeing her in there because there's an interesting twist with him getting married in 3. Mission Impossible movies have 1 to 2 bonkers, holy shit moments in this film. This film had 3+. I will admit the bomb disarming scene did drag a bit. That needed to be cut down a wee. When they hung Simon Pegg in the house at the end, I wonder if they were to hang Tom Cruise, he's so short, they would need to stack 25 phone books under him and need only 1 foot of rope to hang Tom Cruise. To put this in Tom Cruise terms, that helicopter scene was a Thetan level 4 amazing level. It's a Scientology joke, guys and girls who do not laugh. Go Google that. Everyone questions how Ethan Hunt can continue surviving these escapades. I just want to know one thing. I want to know the marriage arrangements he had with Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes. I would love to have 4 bottles of tequila and all 3 of them with me in a jacuzzi. Russ gals can be gals and be completely honest because I have a ton of questions. For longtime fans of this podcast, you know I've touted this film for years. It's no surprise to hear how much I love this film. This is one of the best films in the last 5 years without question. This is easily the best of the franchise, but the last 3 have been amazing. What world do we live in where the sequels get better than the originals by far. This is the lone exception where the last installment of the franchise is the best, and the sequels progressively outdo each other. This film gloriously passes the remote test. Again, the remote test, if you're watching at any part of the film, do you drop the remote? Hell fucking yes, I do. I continue to demand people watch this masterpiece. I have turned so many people onto it. I love Tom Cruise. He's a goofy shit. No one's going to deny that. But goddamn, he bats 800 in my book. His films are works of art. Argue Maverick, enjoyable. We saw it the first time around with Top Gun Part 1. But I will now give you the right ranking, Nick. Mission Impossible, the original, stinks. We did it on this very podcast. I saw it when it came out. I liked it. Watch it again. It ain't that good. Fallout is number 1. I'm going backwards. So Fallout is 6. The next best is 5. Is that Ghost Protocol? Whatever it was. Mm-hmm. The most recent one, 5, is number 2. Number 4, whatever that, Rogue Nation, is number 3. Then we go number 3. That was boring as shit, except for Philip Seymour Hoffman as a villain. He saves that film, but the plot was terrible. Not many great action scenes. 1 is not. I'll tell you what. 2 is better than 1. I'm going on a limb. Not by much, but 1. All it is masks. There's no action whatsoever. None. And that's what this franchise is built on. Once Cruise turned that corner, once he realized there's more than just, I don't know, spy shit, which is good, don't get me wrong, but these are built on action. When he turned that hard right corner, goes, fuck it, I'm doing more bonkers shit in all these films outdoing each other. That's when this franchise went 4, 5, 6. That hit the stratosphere. This is an 8 out of 10 without question in the world. I love this film. Critics, 5-star reviews. Mission Impossible continues to be the rare film franchise that gets better with age. Fallout makes no attempt to reinvent the wheel. Instead, it takes the best elements of its predecessors and then cranks the dial past 10. 100% agree with that. With Fallout, McQuarrie delivers not only the best film in the franchise after De Palma's slick original, but one of the great films of the artfully photographed and technically monumental action. This one should make for one of your dad's favorite movies of the decade. Yay. That's cool. I'm 46 now, and I don't give a shit. It's still fucking fantastic. A blockbuster bonanza that genuinely feels as if it's tossing absolutely everything it has at the audience in an attempt to deliver pure, unadulterated escapism. And yes, it's a popcorn blockbuster. That's all this is. Shit blown up in action. That's what you want. You don't need plot. This is not a David Fincher film as much. I still think it has a good plot. Critics, 1-star reviews. Each successive Mission Impossible movie takes us further away from the understanding of the politics and morality of espionage. What does that mean?
Yikes.
The film knows how to make your pulse race, but the story is the same of any other Mission Impossible film, and the sequel is basically dead as far as any emotional acting goes. Impressive action doesn't make up for a diffused storyline. That's like going to a Bond film and saying, oh, just too much action. Yeah, the story. This is what you sign up for. This is why you put down $15. If you don't go to the Jim Carrey film, you don't hear him talking out of his ass and say, alrighty then, you feel cheated. Even the plot is lackluster. Couldn't writer-director Christopher McQuarrie have come up with something a little more original than the tired old plutonium shtick?
How dare they?
What, palladium? Do you want another element?
Unobtainium.
Sure. Adamantium, vibranium, anything EM. Well, sure. Whatever tickles your fancy. This last one made me laugh. Ready? Tom Cruise Fantasy Camp. Sure. And I'll pay a ticket for that every time because this guy delivers. Amazon 5-star reviews. Simply put, this is the best film of 2018. Sorry, Deadpool 2, close second. Highly recommend.
Yikes.
Deadpool 2, little lackluster. Highly recommended for action junkies who like a bit of smarts and innovation sprinkled in. Think Pacific Rim versus Transformers. I'll take the first Transformers over Pacific Rim. I'm sorry. But then again, I'm a huge, unabashed Transformers G1 fan. You're making a face there, Joey. Apparently you just
a big Pacific Rim guy. Well, the first one. So yeah, I would be completely the opposite. So.
Same here.
Okay. Pacific Rim over the first Transformer. I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, but Bay did the first one right. The sequels are completely opposite of Mission Impossible, where they get worse and worse and worse, to the point where the last one, and again, huge Transformers fan, by far my favorite cartoon and action toy. I didn't even see the last one in the theater because that's how bad the last ones were. Oof. But then again, he did that. Well, Bad Boys 2 is not good either. Next one. Just a few comments for those who care about the science. A person of ordinary strength cannot pick up a plutonium core that's large like a softball. It would be much too heavy for a casual one-handed lift. Like Thor's hammer Mjolnir? Are you kidding me? A case holding 3 would be a workout, but people are shown lifting it like it's no heavier than a regular briefcase or carry-on bag. Moreover, this person's an asshole for saying moreover, the devices could not produce nearly a 5 megaton yield. Even a tenth of that is hardly plausible. No one should think this is a remotely realistic depiction. Signed, Kris Jenner. Who goes in thinking that this is like, you know what? Little too light, kind of like that empty magazine clipping the gun. Like that you can see. But the plutonium, people aren't going to go in there, you know, I don't see enough veins in that guy's neck straining as he's picking up that plutonium case.
Yeah, that person's a dick.
Yeah, that is a shit take, and I didn't even like the movie.
Yeah, take your garbage takes and stick them right up your plutonium, vibranium, adamantium asshole. These movies are purely entertaining. It was a hard task to follow up Rogue Nation, but I think Fallout legitimately takes the cake. I can't wait for the next Mission Impossible movies to come out. I agree. That means the new preview looks pretty cool, and they do tie into part 1 again too with Henry Czerny back as the director. Forgot his name. The main bad guy did suck though. The guy who wrote the review before me nailed that, but overall very enjoyable if you're not looking for The Godfather or some shit like that. That guy needs to end every statement in life by saying or some shit like that. That was a good cheesesteak or some shit like that. That was a good blowjob or some shit like that. That was a good shit or some shit like that. All right. Rules of 3. I had to stick to them as a comic. Okay. I mean, literally, it's so hard to even believe how good this movie is. Start to finish, just spectacular. Not boring or slow for a millisecond, yet extremely easy to follow the amazing plot. The other Mission Impossible movies were good or great, though Mission Impossible 2 was absolutely terrible and almost killed the entire series if it weren't for J.J. Abrams saving it. But this is one of the best action movies ever. I get the hate for 2. I just don't hate it as much. I get it.
When's the last time you watched it?
5-10 years.
Give it another go, and you'll come around.
I own it. I've seen it a bunch of times. I'm not saying. Listen, I know it's not good. I'm not defending it, but I'm also saying I don't think it's as bad as it's being made out to be. Amazon 1-star reviews. If you're into action films containing scenes that could never happen, then this thrill ride isn't for you. Then why are you seeing action films, stupid?
Wait a minute. So the dude that was complaining about the plutonium gave it a 5-star review still?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What the hell?
Do you hate Terminator 2 because you can't send robots and people back to the past to kill the future of mankind? Tom, this is good. Tom is at his best, as usual, along the world's worst actor, Ving Rhames.
Oh, come on.
Someone must really hate Piranha D and Double D. Everything in this movie is beyond unbelievable. Mostly the action scenes, though. You literally laugh through them. Yet again, why are you seeing these films? Hey, Shakespeare has too much wherefore out thou and too much iambic pentameter. Pff, not for me. Not worth $5.99, but definitely $1.99. I like how a $4 difference is the line of demarcation in this review. Like, this wedding had prime rib, not steak, so it's a $25 reduction in per head cost for me. Keep an eye on your purchases, especially digital books and movies. I am pad numerous things that I have paid for, and you don't know this because they're small amounts, but when you add them up, it's a problem. Okay, Let me begin by saying I couldn't wait to see this movie. Everything's in place, good plot, and always a promise of unparalleled action. So why is this the most boring action movie I've ever seen? The chases are so unrealistic, I expected the A-Team to help lend a helping hand. No bruises, no blood, no lasting trauma from a whooping that Rocky would envy. I don't care about any of these characters, including Ethan, and wish the director had a sense of the bizarre to just add something twisted to make me give a damn. I tapped out twice before I was an hour in. Good grief, Tom, night and day. Good grief, Tom. Night and day was better than this. No, it wasn't. That film was trash.
Yeah, no.
That film was awful.
Yeah.
One of the very few misses of Tom Cruise, but that and Oblivion was two of his worst recent ones. How could you make a Tom Cruise movie suck, you ask? Well, for starters, let Christopher McQuestionmark direct it. Screw a flashback forward sideways. And did you try to convince me that his field agents don't take daily naps because they look well rested? Tell Ving I know now who has the meats. Nice. I like that. That's a good one. Add in the wealth of weaponry that hits nothing but property, and by Joe, Hitsville. So yeah, if there's if there's such a thing as negative stars, this movie's a -3. But I love you, Tom. Do better. The movie is upbeat to the end, but very confusing and predictable all the same time. All throughout the movie, I'm asking myself who's who and what's what. The car, motorcycle, police chases is too long and boring. The government technologies they use and smallpox situation much sound like COVID-19 and the plots against Trump in real life. What?
Jesus.
Anywho, it keeps you on your toes for 2 hours only because you want to see the predictable ending, but not at the same time a very good movie. Signed, Ilhan Omar. I want to thank Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible Fallout, for giving me one of the best naps I've ever had. Bullshit. The action alone, you may hate the plot, but the action keeps you awake, you liar. 10 minutes in, I heard the first, "You must find a nuclear weapon." I fell into a deep and restful sleep. I woke a few times during the film, once to see some homophobic reference to gay men in a bathroom, then ridiculous superhero flying through the air fight scene in the toilet. I immediately went back to sleep. I think I woke again to a digital countdown thingy, but could have dreamt that. Hashtag Tom Cruise and pout. Hashtag Mission Impossible ZZZZ. By the way, this didn't happen. There was not a homophobic reference in the bathroom, you lying piece of shit. Tom Cruise is allegedly, I repeat allegedly, heavily rumored to be gay. Why would he have that in his film? Hell, he didn't even mention the country that we were in war with at Top Gun Maverick. Do you think he's going to make this divisive comments in a film to alienate audiences? This person is a lying asshole. There was nothing in there that was homophobic. Cut the bullshit. Just because you hate it doesn't mean you have to falsely accuse it of that stuff.
Breathe.
I got the anger. I read that video. No, that didn't happen. And I went back to watch it, saying, that's not even true. Nick, did Joey from So Wizard Podcast gut the sacred cow?
Sadly, he did.
He did? Wow. I was going to give him a gutting, but okay. You're the guest host. You're allowed to do what you want. Show your work. How about that? I want to hear this. I want to hear your logic behind that. You weren't expecting a follow-up, were you?
No.
Don't make him change his mind. I like his answer.
I'm not asking to change. I'm just asking to state his logic. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, the one thing that I believe he got right that I didn't think of is it is a Tom Cruise ego movie.
Right.
So and when he said that, I started to think about it, and I'm like, I mean, granted, he's the main character, but he is in every scene. And I that just stuck to me. And now that I'm thinking about it, we could have done more with Simon Pegg. We could have done more with Ving Rhames. Could have done more character building, damn it.
Please.
Or Rebecca Ferguson.
I'll buy Ferguson,
yeah.
but the other guys are just fluff. One's a computer nerd. The other guy is just a goofy comic relief. I'm not a Simon Pegg fan. Ferguson, sure, but Joey, if you see the previous Mission Impossible film, which it sounds like you won't, she is by far featured as the assassin. She does a lot of shit. And to have her come back, and so this film ties in with the last one, which is why I really enjoyed that. Anywho's, I'm glad you boys were on. This was fun watch because as soon as Joey said I want to do a Mission Impossible film, I said, "Oh, motherfucker, ollie ollie oxen free, let's dance." But I'm glad you guys were on. We had a good time. Fellas, thanks again. Check out Joey on the So Wizard podcast, Nick on the Gag on this podcast, and Gutting the Sacred Cow, your favorite movie review / movie debate podcast. I'm Kevin Goatee. Thanks again, folks. We'll see you later.